In this week's episode, you'll find out why Monday, September 6th, is my favorite day. Well, because we have 3 trines and a new moon. Maybe find out more. And then we have Mercury moving into shadow and Venus moving into her detriment in Scorpio. To hear more from this week's transits, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, along with the slumber party sensation, Sandy Reevy.
I got that one, and I'm excited.
It is episode 163, September 6th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Sandy's favorite day today, Mars trine Pluto.
Moving in the right direction.
And also Venus trine Jupiter.
Oh, yeah, this is it. Best aspect for them.
And the new moon in Virgo.
Heated changes.
And finally, the sun trine Uranus.
Dial it up.
Then Tuesday, September 7th, Mercury is in his shadow.
Pay special attention.
And Friday, September 10th, Venus ingress Scorpio.
Inner detriment.
Then the Talisman times that Sandy has finished up to stimulate others with kind words, to become the artist that I am, to find satisfying and enriching nourishment, and to repay alone. Then the 3 upcoming: to write worthy content to increase sales, to be gentle, diplomatic, and magnetic. And finally, today is a wonderful day. Then on the horizon, we have finished up our September astrology forecast. Make sure to check that out. Our Mexico retreat updates, as well as our October astrology forecast. Then in our house, Sandy and I came across an interesting article that listed the 18 reasons people were executed for witchcraft. Tune in because the results will shock you. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, slumber party sensation.
It's true. Tonight's slumber party.
We're having a slumber party tonight, just me and my mom, and that hasn't happened in a little while, so
months.
And I wish I could show you right now, but I brought something special. I brought a couple surprises for our slumber party.
Woo-hoo! I might have 1 or 2 tucked away.
So I think let's get direct. Let's go direct to everybody and start this episode. So last week we got a big shout out from Faith Hunter, who is a client of yours and also an intention bead wearer, also goes by Spiritually Fly. She just published this really wonderful book that's on Amazon that is called Spiritually Fly. And she also posted about your reading. So can I share?
Share. She's wonderful. I love her. Everybody follow her. Look for Spiritually Fly. Faith Hunter.
So she starts out the post with Wednesday wisdom. Let go of what's keeping you small. Your divine contribution to humanity is planted at birth. I don't have to know all the characters in the story or the unexpected surprises. I only have to know myself, be guided by my intuition, trust the unfolding, and make decisions rooted in my legacy. Anxiety layered in fear is part of being human. There are days when I even need someone to remind me to pause, breathe through the feels, and remember my gifts. Thank you, Sandy of Intention Beads, for another soulful reading. As always, our conversations are filled with moments of vulnerability, strength, and sacred planetary alignment. So, big shout out.
Yeah,
that's really
nice.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Faith. Of course.
Yes, and we got her book. We
are good friends with her too.
Right.
It's actually a pretty cool story. How was it 10 years ago? You would come across her somehow.
Oh, right. That is true.
Quick, tell that story.
Okay. So I came across her on an influencer website where you can, offer up your company for them to chat about if, when they have like a big community. And Faith was the only person on this entire thing that I was like, I want her to talk about our intention beads, because she was genuine, and she's, also very beautiful and so inspirational,
so
but also so grounded at the same time,
and peaceful.
So
and very
peaceful,
quiet and peaceful and just easy.
And every single one of her videos, she would do these videos on the new moon. And so she knew a little bit about astrology. And I was like, I need to talk to her. So we actually got on a phone call with her, and, kind of like business goes, some things totally turn on, but some don't. And so they we didn't get the momentum behind, bringing her in as an ambassador. But fast forward, what was it, like 2 years? And we're going to I think you were co-sponsoring, or you had, we were co-sponsoring because we had
I was teaching.
You were teaching. And this was the Minnesota.
No, it was the Dubuque, Iowa
Yoga Festival. That was it. Okay. And so we run into her.
It was the Midwest Festival.
Midwest Yoga Fest. That's it. And Faith was there.
She was one of the other teachers.
And so we just reconnected. You and her were like fun, giddy girls. She got a reading from you officially. And then that
started
was like
started
a great friendship. We've flown out to multiple times to her yoga studio in Washington, D.C. And we see her a lot on the Wanderlust,
stages,
spectrums, and, just being there with all these like spiritual festivals. So shout out to you, Faith. Thank you so much for, also supporting us.
And here, Circle, she speaks about us.
Right.
Right.
And that's like originally what I was going for in the relationship.
11 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. And, just how authenticity and
authentic.
It occurs when you want, it might take some time.
Right.
And it should be very, easy and effortless.
And that's what we try to do with our business.
Yeah.
We weren't going to be like pushing anything or
we're not the corporate
trying to make
people.
something inauthentic.
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah, that is a cool full circle story. I like that. And honestly, like just the way that she wrote that was just so beautiful, and same with her book, So yeah. Should we go into the transits?
Let's go.
Okay. So we start off this week with, of course, today, Monday, September 6th, and it's your favorite day. There are 4
transits that are going on today. It's Labor Day. So I hope you're catching this today on Labor Day, because it's
a big day.
It's worth listening to all this so that you don't miss out on anything.
So let's start with the first transit, Mars trine Pluto.
Yeah, moving in the right direction. We start this off at 7:20 in the morning. It's a great time to focus on your chosen direction. You may or can ask for help because you're operating at a very good, stable condition. Really like this because Mars has the influence of in a trine to Pluto. Like these are the two big power forces. So, this is how we start the day off, was just like, what are we doing today? Having this intense focus, and it's a holiday. It's a Monday and holiday. And one of the main reasons why it's my favorite day is this next aspect.
Venus trine Jupiter.
Yeah, this is Venus in her own sign of Libra, making a trine to her buddy. Jupiter. The two benefics are in the best aspect that they can be in a trine. And the other special piece here is Venus is sitting on Spica. And this is, again, right around the 24 degrees of Libra. And this is the gift of the goddess. Spica is the wheat shaft in the hand of the goddess Libra. Not Libra, Virgo. Oh. So it's about having an innate talent. It's about being abundant. It's about being nurtured. It's about having, love and support and being satisfied all at the same time. So this is very easy for these two benefics while, Venus is in her domicile where she has all resources available to her, where she can bring forth stable conditions and outcomes. Yeah.
Happy
nice.
day.
I'll be making, this is a day of lots of talismans. Yeah.
And still the same day, we have the new moon in Virgo.
And this is right around 8 p.m. at night when we get the new moon. Again, it's a new moon. The moon is not seen in the sky. It's the dark of the moon. It's at 14 degrees Virgo, as you just said, and heated changes. Heated changes. Why did I call it that? It's like you get a shove in the, you get a shove to get moving in an unknown territory. And the reason why I say this is because the new moon, the sun and the moon are together in the sky, and Mars is under the beams of the sun and moon. So we can't see Mars. And it's making this trine to Uranus. So it's, again, something not seen, not known, yet it's trine Uranus to get you moving in an excitable way, but you don't know where you're headed. This is, again, Virgo, it's like, are we harvesting the fruits of our labor? Which direction are we moving? It's heated changes. We're getting pushed. Don't be afraid here, and maybe not push back, because it is a time to start new things. It's a new moon.
Okay. And the final transit for September 6th today is Sun trine Uranus.
Dial it up. This is by, 8:30 in the evening, just as we're kind of winding down from the big weekend. Its surprises are coming, so just be ready to catch them. Sun makes this trine to Uranus, and this means that Uranus has just gone retrograde recently, because the sun will trine the outer planets when they're just retrograde or just coming out of retrograde. So we know that Uranus, hasn't moved off of the 14 degrees of Taurus. It is just sitting there, which, is one of the reasons why so much turmoil is going on in the world, and overthrow, there's just overthrows going on and tipsy-turvies that are going on in the world because this Uranus is unable to move. So it's still going to be here for a couple more weeks. But, Uranus, the sun trine Uranus really wants some sort of excitement, as I mentioned, and change, and bringing up a level of individuation and freedom.
Okay.
So how can we stand in that power, even though it seems like things are crazy in the world, and they are crazy in the world? But this Monday, the 6th, is just a really nice, we've got 3 trines along with a new moon.
Right. I mean, so we can really set forth a great rhythm for the rest of the week on Monday. So let's move to Tuesday, September 7th, Mercury in his shadow.
Yeah, 10 degrees of Libra. He's not retrograde. He's only in a shadow. Shadow means that he will be moving over territory. So this 10 degrees that he's at right now.
So he's in forward movement.
He's forward. He's at 10 degrees. Let's just say he's at the front walk of the house, and he's beginning his movement to the front door. But when he gets to the door, he has to go retrograde and return back to, let's say, the car that's at the edge of that walkway to pick up another load of, let's say, groceries. And when he starts turning to move toward the house again, he's now in his direct motion, and he has to walk back over that same territory that he walked again starting today, Tuesday the 7th, at 10 degrees of Libra. So, he doesn't come out of the shadow until November 3rd, which means, that retrograde cycle is in between the shadow period. So the retrograde cycle, we're not here yet. This occurs on September 27th, all the way through October 18th. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But the hint is Mercury's at 10 degrees Libra and goes in retrogrades at 25 Libra. That means he'll stay in Libra in an air sign the entire time of the shadow period and the retrograde and the last shadow period. So he's in a sign which he normally clips through in a 3-week period. He'll be here for 2 months.
So this is a great reminder for us starting September 7th that we will be retracing some of these steps.
Yes,
communication wise.
Exactly. Or negotiation or planning or agreement. And so put something, we used to say, drop some crumbs so you know how to get back on your path, but then the birds eat the crumbs. So now you're lost. And this territory that you'll be treading again, maybe just have to drop signs, or you'll say when you're in a big conversation, you'll be able to say, hey, you know what, we need to come back to this.
Okay.
This discussion isn't over yet, but we need to just kind of be in it for a period of time and see how things kind of work themselves out. But we need to have this conversation is not over yet. And, and this is too, I don't want to miss out on the Rapunzel story that I have been discussing.
Because you added the Rapunzel story in the cheat sheet, and which is available online on our website.
I know, and I didn't talk about it in last week's podcast.
We mentioned it, but
did we?
Continue.
I don't even remember. But one of the things I said about this period of this week is that Sandy's storyline for Rapunzel is that they during that Monday that everybody is just such a good day that they agree, and this Rapunzel's mother gets to eat all of the vegetables, the rampuns that from the garden throughout her pregnancy. Because they agree on something that's, not so nice.
Right.
But this part is like, hey, yeah, deal is made. Okay, we're good.
But this is
and then they're going to have to retrace some steps.
And remind themselves that they weren't paying special attention to this deal that they were making.
Right. You were just trying to satisfy your wife's cravings to eat this particular vegetable rapin. I think it's called a rapin. From the garden that she has literally been craving. And something doesn't go right.
So let's move on to Friday, September 10th. We have Venus ingress Scorpio.
Yeah, she's in her detriment here. So watch increasing stability and some interruptions in flow, or feeling like you're just dismissed with no regard. Now, those are the terms that are used in ancient traditional astrology when any planet is in the placement of their detriment, meaning the opposite of where they are in domicile, where they have everything they need. When they're opposite where they need, they don't have what they need.
The resources, right.
They don't have what
the
they
qualifications.
Need. So, but this is a healing. It's, it's Venus and it's in Scorpio. This is maybe a healing and cleansing time. Again, Mercury's just in a shadow, so it could be a time when you're talking through things. You're deciding to work on something. Maybe something in a relationship has been, pushed under the rug or put in a closet and hurry and locked in a cabinet somewhere. When Mercury moves into this dark space of hidden, scorpionic, secretive, that you get the key and you unlock the door. And it can be a healing and cleansing time. It's really a good time to release negative holds on relationships, hurts, or insecurities, where you can zero into, like, you can go right to the bullseye, right? Like, you're not like choo, 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 choo all around, not deciding, what we're getting at. We're like, hey, we need to go right here. We need to go right to the heart, right to the middle. Let's not pussyfoot around. But we need to stay here and really discuss, and let's talk about the hurts and the pains and any insecurities that we might find we have. And let's, help me through it, or I'll help you through it.
Okay. So that is a wrap on this week. Let's move into the talisman times. You have finished up 4 talismans. The first was Thursday, September 2nd, to stimulate others with kind words.
Aw. I provide and support my crew and team. My ideas, thoughts, and suggestions inspire them. We feel great.
Yes. That reminds me of the Mercury in Libra, right? The complimenting others and being a team player.
And, Mercury is in Libra, like, again, as we were saying, even here in this last week when Mercury moved into Libra and then stays here for over 2 months. But this talisman is Venus rising. Venus is rising, just like Aphrodite did on the sea foam coming in from the island. That Venus rising in her own sign with the moon making an aspect from the moon's own sign in the 10th house. So this is about that support of your team or your crew with bringing great ideas in. And then the Venus is making a trine to Jupiter. This is nice.
Okay. And Saturday, September 4th, to become the artist that I am.
Now is my time to shine, to perform, and to uncover these hidden artistic treasures I have always owned. Now others find my work desirable. This is again, Venus rising over the horizon at this time in her own sign. With now the moon is in Leo, making an applying sextile. So this is really more about the art expression.
In the process.
Yeah. So This is a nice one.
And the same day, Saturday, September 4th, to find satisfying and enriching nourishment.
I give my body what it craves. I ask my body, not my mind or my taste buds, as I usually do. And I prosper. Now, this is cool because now Venus is at 24 degrees, coming up to 24 degrees where Spica is sitting. And when you can get Venus and Spica is a very bright star in the sky. Wow. And so is Venus. So to look at them, we'll be able to see them in the sky at the same time. But you're going to need to wait for the sun to go down. Look up, you'll see Venus sitting right next to Spica. And this is just a beautiful time to nourish the body with proper soul food.
Yeah. And for me, that really is the good kind of food that is the most nourishing and enriching for your body, but also movement and stretching, because that's just something that I've been doing every morning, is just waking up and at least just doing a quick yoga pose, just one. And I notice a huge difference in my body. It's like ready to go versus not so ready to go. So let's
it's I'm ready for the day. No, you're not.
Let's move on to Sunday, September 5th, to repay a loan.
I happily pay off this money I received to help me advance and grow. It so worked. Thanks. And I am now clear of this financial commitment.
Woohoo.
Right?
That always feels so good.
This is the balsamic moon. So balsamic moons, you need to wrap something up,
wrapping,
finish up, conclude, be done with something. And this balsamic moon is making the applying aspect to the sun in the 8th house of debt, taxes, loans, anything that's needs to be paid off. And the moon is making that opposition to Jupiter. And Jupiter is the ruler of the chart because it's a Sag rising chart. And Venus is at the top of the chart, the 10th house. So it really has this cleansing, clear, looking good, feeling worthy of. So whatever the money was for, or that loan was for, has worked and has gotten the native or the talisman maker up to that honored place of 10th house to be visible and respected.
And the upcoming talismans you have: Wednesday, September 8th, to write worthy content to increase sales.
My attention to detail and messaging produces all the good things I expected. Wealth and prosperity increases now.
And this one you shared with me, this one was a pre-sale.
This already sold.
Right.
This is the first time I'm talking about it. And I won't say who it is, but in a reading this past couple weeks, this person this is their solar return. Exact moment.
Wow. Very cool.
So to have your solar return occur at a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time for talismanic magic, and you're keyed in on your astrology and your solar return, grab that talisman. And I should probably, Alex, I feel like saying this right now, you're going to make a face here, I think, across the table, is that, I should probably mention that in all my readings, that if I have something planned for their day, to mention it to them. And because that's how this one pre-sold. It is, this is Moon in Libra between 0 and 12 degrees Libra. So it was at the 15th lunar mansion.
Yeah.
And it's just about
I think that's fine.
goods.
I think I would want to know that too, instead of trying to monitor the website every day to see if one falls on my solar return day. Yeah.
Right. And it was the same time.
Right. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so perfect.
Yeah. We get done with the reading and she says, I have a question. And I was like, yeah. She goes, how do I buy that talisman?
So Thursday, September 9th, to be gentle, diplomatic, and magnetic.
I attract all the good graces to me easily. I am worthy of this success, happiness, and every good thing coming my way.
Those are great qualities. Those are 3 really great qualities.
Well, what do you think? It's Venus. Venus is in her own sign. Venus, we weren't unable to use Venus in Libra last year because she gets here every year.
Right.
She's here for about 3 weeks. But we had last year, Mars was in Aries. I remember Mars was in Aries. It retrograded in Aries and it stayed there for about 6 months. And Mars was making that opposition to Venus in Libra. That is not talismanic magic.
Okay. That
might be black magic, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But no, this is Venus is making a nice placement between Venus is making a trine to that Jupiter. Remember, that was one of my favorite days.
Right.
That Venus has been in play because it's been air. Venus is in Libra, air sign, making that trine to Jupiter in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And the moon has just been playing with both of them, either in an enclosure or in an aspect to either one of them or both of them. And so there's just been such a good time for just expression of of blessings and abundance and prosperity and all the good. So yeah, to be gentle, diplomatic, and magnetic, Boom.
And the same day, Thursday, September 9th, you are creating Today is a Wonderful Day. And normally you start all of the intentions with 2, which technically this still does have 2, but today is a wonderful day.
How crazy is that? When I started writing this, it was like 2. And I'm like, day. So yeah, today is a wonderful day. I celebrate all my wins. I move forward and believe in myself.
That is just so simple and just great. I mean, really, it is.
I mean, like, this
celebrate your wins, because that's what they are. That it's the time to celebrate them. You can celebrate them with your family, or you can just celebrate them like before you're heading to bed and you're like, high five to myself.
Good job. Well done. Pillow, listen to what I've done today. I talk to my pillow in the morning and say, I can't wait to tell you what has happened throughout the day. I'll be back tonight. But here the moon is enclosed by the Venus in Jupiter.
It's like 2 happy bookends.
So it's just like the moon is protected and walking with the
arm in arm.
Oh my gosh. It's like, how good today is a wonderful day. And this is interesting. I'll be making these two on this day in Cincinnati because I'll be in Cincinnati with my mom while my brother has some very delicate surgery.
Right.
And so,
And we're sending so much love, so
so
much healing.
all of these are really being, to attract good graces to me and to celebrate my wins. I'm liking the energy of the week for my brother's surgery.
Perfect. And I'll remind everybody, the talisman of the month is to be surrounded by happiness and love. That is available right now on the website at a discount and a free $5 shipping credit. So this is pretty awesome. Go ahead, click that link in the description or just head over. You'll see the talisman of the month on the banner. So let's move into the horizon, where we just finished up September's astrology forecast. This is our Facebook Live. It is on our website. Head over to our blog post. There you'll be able to watch the forecast and you'll be able to download the astrological cheat sheet that Sandy and Susan create. This one especially, September's, has the Rapunzel fairy tale story alongside. So
it was fun writing that.
That is cool. Yeah, and it's just really interesting how it forms into that. So let's give our quick update about the Mexico retreat with Sandy exclusively. The early bird deadline has passed and we have one space left. If you are interested in it, throw down your deposit or email me info@intentionbeads.com if you would like to take that space.
January 1st through January 8th, we'll be talking about Venus because she'll be retrograde, about to make her Kazemi while we're all in the air leaving.
Yes. And also, I wanted to quick mention, we have a date correction for October's astrology forecast that is going to be happening on October 2nd. The link for that event is in the description. Make sure you RSVP because you will be reminded once we go live. Sometimes people do have a little bit of trouble trying to find the live feed, so make sure to RSVP and then it will automatically get sent to you.
Do you see my hand raised?
Yes, you in the front.
You're the only one in the room. So tell me how this works. I had someone ask me if you RSVP, you can get your...
Everyone can comment on the video. That is on Facebook.
Even if you're...
So you have to be signed into Facebook and watching it live for your comments to populate live. However, once we are done with the recording, that live recording, it then gets put up onto our page. And I also share it on our blog as well. But once anyone comments there, we're not monitoring those comments anymore.
Got it.
So, but I think it's awesome to be there live so you can ask questions, we can respond back, where it's very active. So make sure to keep that date, October 2nd, in your calendars, and we would love to see you there. So let's move into our house. It was so strange. The other day, you started up a conversation about, wow, I saw this article about these
Well, here's how it came about.
Okay.
Let me rewind. Let me
rewind
set this
a little
up.
bit. Set it up.
So I have been wanting to clean the garage for, I don't know, 2 years. And we have this really long red runner that goes, it's probably how like...
So old.
Well, no, how long you think is it? 20 feet? It's
15
feet. And it's red. And it gets dirty because it's in the garage. So we pull it out onto the sidewalk.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And we have to, instead of getting the vacuum out, we're going to just sweep it with a broom. And so as we're sweeping it, it's like moving. So I stand on one end and you're like sweep, 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 sweep. You're kind of digging at it to get the dirt off. And I'm reminded, I'm like, oh my God, you remind me of a witch.
Because I have it. Well, I was also beating it with the broom too. So,
And I'm like, you remind me of a witch right now. I saw this thing on Instagram about witches, and you go, I saw
that too. So maybe there's other people that, that saw the same article, but it was so interesting because it listed 18 reasons that people were executed for witchcraft back in the 16th
16th,
century?
17th, and 18th century. So I did some research around it, and it literally is an article that was written in 2019 on the History Collection website.
And
so it's called historycollection.com, and you go to the 18 reasons that one is executed for witchcraft. And we just want to go through these 18 quickly.
Right. Because when I was like halfway through the list, I'm like, I could have been one of these people. Okay, so let's start off. We'll start off with 18.
I'll take 18.
Okay.
Number 18. If you are a woman, literally, the simple sexism was behind many accusations of black magic, and three out of 4 people were put to death for being witches were female.
Yes. So check for both of us. 17, you looked the part. So when these witch hunts were becoming more and more normal, they believed that, people, the experts, the witch finders, thought that they were experts in what witches looked like. So if you had a specific look, then you could be executed for being a witch. Which is crazy because...
Witch is crazy.
Witchy.
Because if you had a visible wart or a crooked nose, if you limped or you had a hunchback, that chances are somebody could accuse you of being a witch.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it says also if you had a goober tooth.
What? Goober tooth?
A gobber tooth? A gobber tooth?
It says here in
1640
England that this revered guy who fancied himself as an expert in rooting out witches issued his thoughts on the matter. He explained, every old woman with a wrinkled face, oh my God, a burrowed brow, a hairy lip, a gobber tooth, a squint eye, a squeaky voice, or a scolding tongue is not only suspected, but pronounced for a witch.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, yep. It's only a matter of time for all of us women. So, you're going to take
16. If you were age 40 or over,
yep.
Older women were treated with suspicion, especially if they lived alone.
Okay. So number 15, you were childless. When children fell ill for no apparent reason, it was also believed that the local childless woman had cursed them out of jealousy, which is crazy because some women just don't want kids.
Or couldn't have them.
them. So it's not that they're like jealous. So, wow. And I'm childless. So there, check. I mean, what else? What else do we have?
14. If you were sexually progressive. Sex outside of marriage has long been frowned upon, but in the 17th century, it could get you hanged for being a witch.
Whoa.
It's like the red scarlet letter.
Right. 13, you talked to yourself. So even muttering under your breath could be seen as a sign of black magic. Oh my goodness. Go ahead with 12.
You didn't dress smartly enough. In some witch trials, an individual's refusal to dress like everyone else was seen as something distinctly sinister.
That's crazy. I'm just so happy that now when people dress differently, they might be looked at by some people as, crazy or out of the normal, but I love seeing people in whatever garb they decide is the right for them that day.
And it even said that if a coat was torn or weathered, or if she wore black clothing or odd costumes.
Oh, I love costumes. Uh-oh. So number 11, you had a criminal record. Okay. I guess so. So go ahead with 10.
You were guilty by association. Oh. So if you knew or related to a known witch, you might have found yourself hauled before a grand jury.
Okay, known witch, right? That's like
Yeah.
any any person. So number 9, you are financially independent. Oh my gosh, I thought that should be like a praised thing. But yes, the sexist beliefs in the subservience of women meant that those who didn't need a man's support were often suspected as witches.
And, they say, well, neighbors might have been jealous of an independent woman's wealth. Religious inquisitors were more concerned by the way they lived outside of their normal gender of times, because it really wasn't. A lack of male control was worrying. Like, you have nobody to keep you under control or take care of you.
Right.
You got to do things on your own.
That's crazy.
You were guilty of witchcraft.
Right. Number 8.
You were left-handed.
Okay, that's crazy.
According to many traditions, there was something sinister about being left-handed, and it was seen as one obvious sign that, of course, you're a witch.
Wow. Okay. So number 7, you had a cat. So, man, but it's so funny that a lot of these traditions, like, what do we think when we think of like the witch that's in, I don't know, the Halloween store when we're going to go buy decorations? They have a wart on their nose. They have the furrowed brow. They have the wrinkly face. They have, a
long nose.
They wear black.
Right. Yeah. They have a cat.
Let's
see if a broom in a cauldron is down here on one of the other numbers here.
Number 6.
Number 6. If you were a midwife, because wise women used their knowledge of herbal medicine to help others give birth safely, but it left them open to accusations of witchcraft.
Just because they were smart.
Yeah. And of course, if the mother or the baby died during childbirth, that it was the midwife was to blame, and because she had cursed the birth.
Oh, my goodness. Number 5, you had a third nipple. I'm also curious how they would be able to see this. But prosecutors were always on the lookout for telltale signs of a witch, especially on the female body.
Other known as the witch's teat.
Okay. Number 4.
In fact, just real quick, that some women would often ask friends or relatives or trusted doctors to remove moles from their bodies in case there was a witch hunt in the area, and they didn't want to have that viewed as a nipple.
Wow. This seems very scared of strong, independent, older women. So start with number 4.
4, you were illiterate. Even if you were dyslexic or just hated speaking in public, because failure to quote fluently from the Bible might be seen as a sign of being possessed by evil.
Okay.
If you suffer from a stammer, stammer. Oh my gosh, this is, and sometimes there was a prayer test. It became known as the prayer test, when
they would make them recite a prayer from the Bible or a passage in order to prove that they weren't, possessed by the devil. Okay. Oh, number 3, you forgot to throw out old dairy products. Mom, I'm sorry. But this one is basically you. Believe it or not, curdled milk was offered up as evidence that women were witches. I feel like you definitely tend to make things last a little bit longer than they should.
Well, they're talking about this lady, this old English tale of old Mammy Red, who could curdle milk as it came out of a cow. And even though it could be magically transformed into blue wool. But all these superstitions had come up around this time. Curdling
That's
milk
so funny.
being cited as evidence of black magic. And that was at the Salem witch trial in
from
1692.
From an old English tale, it then comes into the Salem witch trials, right? It's like as evidence.
It says the grand jury heard that several of the accused had spoiled milk in their houses, while neighbors also attested that some of them caused milk to curdle just by walking past them.
Oh, yeah.
It was really a time when many families relied on their cows to survive. Should a cow stop producing milk, or should the milk be of poor quality?
There's a witch, there was a witch nearby. I'm just going to go ahead.
It could leave a person or family on the brink of destitution and starvation, and also leave them angry and looking for someone to blame. And often it was that strange female neighbor was the easiest target.
Of course.
My God. All right, whose turn is it?
Your turn. Number 2.
Oh, you get number 1?
You started with 18.
I know.
Okay.
If you had a reputation for being argumentative, nobody liked or trusted an assertive woman, that you would have enough to set tongues wagging at the height of the witch hysteria in the 16th and 17th centuries by being assertive and argumentative. It almost guaranteed you labeled a witch.
Wow. And number 1...
Wait, being drunk and disorderly was no excuse.
Oh.
Nor was being in an abusive relationship.
I feel like every modern day woman is basically a witch by these
terms.
So
let witches corral.
Right? And number 1, if you had made enemies. In many cases, people were accused of being witches by neighbors bearing grudges and seeking revenge. So, yes, that literally labels, I think, every modern day woman a witch. Even some kids that decide they want to wear some crazy clothes versus what their mom tells them.
Wait, can I I don't know if I should cry or just read this. Which one should I do?
You should read it.
It says here, the last person to be executed for witchcraft in Switzerland, for instance, did nothing worse than bring a love affair to an end. Her name's Anna, had embarked on an affair with a rich politician while she was employed as the family nanny. And when she brought the affair to the end, the powerful man denounced her as a witch.
Wow.
And also then claimed that she had used black magic to make his daughter suffer from convulsions.
Well...
there you go.
Bummer. It's a bummer that women have to bear this, being the reason why anything goes wrong. So anyway,
you can check out the history of witches on the History Channel. This stuff is
historycollection.com. It is not the History Channel.
It says here, you can find out more stuff on our History Channel called the History of Witches. It's called the History of Witches.
Oh, one of the sources in this article. Yeah. Okay, right.
So, in other words, all women are witches, and it just makes me sad right now because there's so much going on in women's history right now. We're in the 21st century, and we read this, and it's like, what really?
Right, we're falling back a little bit.
We're falling back. So, I just thought, when you reminded me, sweeping like you were sweeping, that you were this witch because you did hit, majority out of these.
The list, yeah.
That we all do.
Right.
And how can we look at women and femininity to be,
witches empowering witches.
And, I'm in this mentoring class with Demetra George right now, and she talks that witches, the word witches has turned to bitches. So,
I don't know if we're allowed to say that on the podcast, but we'll probably just let
my mom around?
Sneak by. We'll let it sneak by. I don't know if I want to.
Somebody really
make this an explicit content
just because
episode.
Of you, or because
you said that?
No, but who's monitoring the word bitch that's going to take this off? You.
No.
Somebody will?
Possibly.
What?
We have to be.
What a witch.
Well, I think that's a wrap on our episode, everybody. Thank you for listening in. We, of course, want to hear your feedback. Send it over to me, info@intentionbeads.com or alex@intentionbeads.com. And we will see you next week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
So you finally know you control where you go.